Hello, I'm Kris Ripper, and this is a very strange video about budgeting. I fucking love budgeting. I know that sounds weird, but budgeting is the thing that makes me feel a sense of agency over my money, and money is unavoidable. You're gonna have it, you're gonna spend it, you're gonna get it, you're gonna think about it. So I like anything that gives me a sense of agency over a thing I cannot escape. So the first part of this is going to be general prep work for any kind of budgeting, and the second part of this video is going to be the budget program that I use. I'm not an affiliate. I just fucking love this thing. I fucking love it. It does cost money. For me, it's 100% worth it. I really cannot stress enough the psychological benefit that I have personally received from using this program versus all of the things that I did before, which were spreadsheets and who has this Google template and who has that Excel template and all the formulas and blah, blah, blah. So the thing that I use is called You Need a Budget. I love it. I've been using it for over a decade. It is fantastic and also kind of has a learning curve. I've tried to get so many people into this thing. I've never successfully converted anyone yet, but it's because it's a little hard to explain in a helpful, straightforward way, which I know because I looked for how to do that and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to give it a shot. But the first thing you need to do, don't do that. Don't go online and do a Google search and try to find it or whatever. Don't do that. The first thing you need to do, get a beverage of your choice, get a notebook, and pull out whatever format of bills that you have at your disposal. Doesn't have to be bills, actually. I think it's easier to work from your bank statements or your credit card statements. You want to see what money you are currently spending on things. So you pull out that stuff. For me, it's all online, but if it's on paper, pull it out. Grab whatever you have. It does not have to be like exactly all of your bills for the last 12 months. We're just going to do some really kind of quick and dirty math here. Pull out your bills, pull out your favorite form of mathing. For me, that is generally a spreadsheet. You can do it on paper. When I first started this form of budgeting, I did it on paper first and then checked all my numbers via inputting them into a spreadsheet. Because I'm a fucking nerd and I love this stuff, okay? Don't judge. So you can pause this video or keep listening to it, listen to the process. Get your beverage, get your stuff, and let's do some fucking math. So what I'm going to do for my dummy numbers is use a blank piece of paper. Okay. Felt tip pen should be readable. So the numbers I want in particular: housing costs. That includes rent, mortgage, electric bills, water bills, gas if you use gas, sorry, that's not gas for your vehicle, that's gas for your house. If you do home insurance, anything else that you think goes in housing, throw that up there. Monthly bills that are not house related. Fuel, so that's whatever you put in your vehicle if you have one. Insurance, that can be health insurance, car insurance. I could have done this on a screen share, but I didn't think about it, so here we are now. I have my pets in this thing because they always need more crap. Therapy, Mad Money. These are essentially things that at the beginning of the month when I do my budget, I want to make sure all of these funds are funded so that I'm not like trying to buy cat food in the middle of the month and there's no money in that budget line. Mobile phone. I'm going to add student loans if you have those. Other payments. So then if you have other types of repeating monthly payments, you're going to want to write those down and average them out. That does not count credit card payments unless they're credit cards you're not currently using and you're paying off. It gets a little tricky when you have credit cards that you're currently using and paying off simultaneously. I don't really know how that works. But if somebody wants me to do a video on it, I will fucking find out. Then there's all of this stuff that for me is in a category called Build It Up, which is just stuff where I'm not necessarily spending the same amount out of it every month. It's just I need money in these categories. So for me, that's home and garden. I now toss everything into home and garden. For many years, I split out household goods from garden goods from home repair goods. Now I just throw it all together because I never used any of that data separated out. Entertainment. So for us, that's movies, books, games, whatever. Apps I put in there unless they're really business related. Out and about food. Anything that we're eating on the go. I have health in there. I have schooling in there for my kids' schooling crap. Fucking vets. Oh my god, the vet is so expensive, y'all. Travel and adventure. These will all look different for you, but these are just kind of how I group things up because it's what is helpful to me after years of doing this. Clothes, replacements, gifts. A lot of these you're just going to estimate. I will also say, as far as travel goes, if I am planning for a very specific trip, we go to Washington every year, my kid and I. That gets its own budget line because it's temporary. So I throw all the money that we're going to need for plane tickets and paying people to watch the animals and all of this other stuff. Meet my new clip. It's so fun. Doesn't really need to be in my shot. All of that stuff goes into one travel category that I just archive after that trip is over. So once you have your list of all the things, and you can use your bank statements and credit card statements to figure out what your categories are that you personally spend money on, then you just go through and yes, sign some fucking numbers, okay? Some of them are going to be easy. You're probably going to have the same mortgage payment or rent payment every month. So you just throw that in. You're looking at a monthly target number here. For something like clothing, that's probably going to be hit and miss. You don't have to go through every single piece of clothing that you have bought for you and or your family for the last 12 months and then average that. You don't have to do it. Just throw a number in there that seems right and be willing to change it as you go. Other things, just going to depend on where you are in the world. I spend a lot of money on gas in my car. I'm not happy about it. But we don't have public transportation, so that's what I do. And that changes from week to week and month to month sometimes, and sometimes it stays very, very consistent. So if I know that I'm going to be driving somewhere, say at the end of this month, I'm going to drive to Sacramento. Well, that's however many hours away, and I know that that's going to be an extra expenditure for gas, and I'm going to add a little bit more money into that budget line this month. So that is your current assignment, is to sit down, go through your business, and figure out some numbers for those categories. If it starts feeling way the fuck too overwhelming, take a sip of your coffee or beverage of choice. Doesn't have to be non-alcoholic for this. As long as you can still add numbers together and divide by 12, you're fine. And really pare it the fuck down. One category for basic needs can cover toilet paper, clothing, whatever the fuck you want it to cover. Pet food. All of these things can go into one category. And as you do this, actually, this is my recommendation. Let me back up. My recommendation is to keep your categories small. Forget my whole list. Do very basic lists, okay? One house list. One human needs list. One pet needs list. Car list. Bills list. Done. I will also say 100% make sure you have some play money in this system. Some money that you can allocate to things that you enjoy. This is not easy for me to do. I used to force myself to do it because therapeutically I knew that was good, but it was literally like $5. I was like, okay, I know technically I can squeeze $5 out of this month for a latte. I would feel guilty. And I would save it until the last fucking day of the month because, how did I know that I wasn't going to need it, But it's important, even if it's $5, that you have a little bit of money that you can enjoy spending. When you have very limited to zero disposable income, one of the most important things to your mental health is going to be a sense of agency. So for me, one thing there is budgeting, and another thing there is one purchase I can make and not feel guilty about each month. And that can literally be $5, or whatever your local equivalent. But it's really important. What we know about happiness research is that agency is super important. A sense of control over your life and your destiny is one of the biggest predictors of whether you will be content. So my sense of control comes from budgeting, and an additional sense of something comes from being like, I can buy a latte right now if I want one. I don't drink lattes anymore, but when I was not sure I was going to make my fucking rent payment every month, my aunt once sent me a $20 bill for Easter. And to this day, the friend that I was living with at the time and I are like, no, I'm not going to say that. That's blasphemous as fuck. Are like, happy Easter. Have a latte. Because $20 to us at that time, massive amount of money. So, yeah, that's your first assignment. Get some paper, do your business, and then come back. We're going to hit the screen casting, screen recording, whatever it is. We're going to hit that, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the program that I use, which, again, you don't have to use. Same principles kind of apply to everything. This is just like a really straightforward thing that you don't have to program. Okay, this is YNAB, which I love. The way you get a new budget is to hit new budget and call it a thing, which I've already done. This is the default budget. I don't hate it. I don't love it. You're going to want to probably customize it to your own things. But first, let us add some accounts. I'm not going to do this the real way because I'm not going to connect my real bank account, but I will add a few dummy accounts. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So we have a dummy credit card. I put $3,000 on it. I don't really know. And I also made up that minimum payment. I feel like that minimum payment is way too low, but also doesn't really matter right now. Okay. So essentially, when you add your accounts, it will tell you the sum of all of the positive accounts that you have, and then you assign them. Your credit cards will be in their own little place in general. Yeah, I should add a credit card. Dummy credit card. I'm going to say we have 0 on this credit card. This is our credit card that we pay off every month. This is the credit card that we have a balance we're carrying. We go back to our budget. Credit card will be in its own little category. All right, let's see what we have here. Rent, mortgage, fuel, sound, electric, water, internet, cell phone. All of those feel like decent things to budget for. Groceries, eating out, which I always call out, and about food because often I bring it home. Transportation is kind of interesting. So transportation and auto maintenance will be a little bit dependent on your lifestyle. Things that could go in transportation could be fuel or car insurance or whatever you pay to use a sort of commuter toll sort of situation. It can also be bus tickets, train tickets, all of that sort of stuff can fall under transportation. So you can make this whatever you need it to be for yourself. And if you don't own an auto, you can delete this guy. Home maintenance is an interesting category I've gone back and forth on. Gifts also I love to have because a ton of my gift giving happens in the last half of the year, or gift buying happens in the last half of the year. And that is the time of year where I'm like, oh, if I haven't set aside money for that, then it's going to feel impactful to my budget. Vacation, I don't ever have a vacation fund. Education, don't know what that could be for you. I do keep a schooling fund for my middle schooler because there's always crap they want you to buy. Home improvement, I think I ended up putting home improvement and home maintenance into one category for a long time, and now I think I just have one general home category that also includes things like toilet paper and laundry detergent and things like that. You can do whatever makes sense to you, and remember this is an organic, free-flowing, fluid situation. It does not have to be just one thing forever. Hobbies, entertainment, health and wellness. A lot of these are going to be things you're going to want to play with. So the first time you open this, what you essentially have is a bunch of money that looks like way more money than your brain thinks you actually have because it's literally every single cent. And you're going to have all of these places to allocate it. I recommend, and this is kind of a best practice for budgeting, you go back through your bills. Rent and mortgage is going to be, real basic. If you pay, what is money I can do? If you pay $100 a month, then you're going to want to make sure that that has, at the beginning of the month, $100 in it. I do love some of the new features. Ooh, if I can find them. Create a target. So these are 100% not things that you need to do, but sometimes they're fun. So for something like a rent mortgage budget, if you want to, have a yearly target for that, then you can say, I want to put all of my rent mortgage money in there once a year. That's not super helpful. There are probably more helpful things. But anyway, this is a thing that I think is really kind of fun. Oh, there's a repeat every month. Okay, we'll save that. So then it just tells you, okay, you've met your goal there. I didn't even know that was a thing. Wasn't there when I started using the program, and I am not keeping up very well, but I'm hella going to do that on the things that I know I need to budget. Because what does happen to me sometimes, and I have changed these categories so that everything that I know I need to fund is up at the top, and everything that's kind of extra, like vacation, which I don't have, but if I did, is down at the bottom. Quality of life should not be at the bottom. Don't put that at the bottom. Quality of life is important. These things can be anything that you want them to be. So, to spend, I have some phrase for that. And that's just stuff that I want to remember that this is money I'm spending. This is not money I am saving. Goals to save. So that's money I don't really want to be spending out of all the time. Home improvement is a goal. Whatever. None of that makes sense to me. But if this was my thing, this is how I would do it. I wanted to do this cold, so you'd get like the standard build. But yeah. So since you have already written down all the things that you need to know, you're going to come in here and you're going to enter everything that you need to have here. So if your electric bill over the course of a year divided by 12 averages out to about $60 a month, you're putting that there.
If your water bill averages out to $75, you're putting that there. If your internet is $150, maybe that's just my family, your cell phone, whatever all of these things are.
I also should mention that in my cell phone budget, I include extra because I want to be saving money towards my replacement phone, which I know is inevitable. I also do that with my car. So if my insurance payments over the course of the year divided by 12 are, I don't know, I want to say about $60 a month, then I'm going to add another 40, and that's going to be other costs. So I think that my car, I save $100, and then I have a separate line for fuel because I live in California and it's crazy expensive. So this is a good time to learn how to do that. You click this little guy right here who only shows up when you're hovering, and you say, I want this category, which I'm going to drag down underneath my car. So for fuel right now, because this is nuts, I put away $200 a month and often burn through that. Okay, we'll make it $250. That's a really good note because $250 feels like a lot of money, but what I want to avoid is going over. And what I want to ideally do is build this number up. So if there's extra at the end of the month, it sits here. And when I go to the next month, having not spent that money, there it still is. I love that. That feels like power over finances to me. Having this money that's like, okay, I'm gonna so if I take a trip next month that goes over my usual fuel expenditure, that's going to be covered by the money that's in that category, which I just fucking love. Okay, I'm going to burn through a few more of these and then we'll see what we have. Okay, I've completely made all of these numbers up, but this is a decent situation that may happen when you're doing this. You have your numbers in, you have some extra here. A couple of different things that you can do with this. I would ideally someday like to have a 6-month expenses fund. Okay, so when I first started using this, when it wasn't super fancy, there'd be a thing and you would just do this. But now I think we can probably do that over here. Again, making up this money, making up this amount. It does not matter. Where did I just see to do that? Okay, it's at the top. Emergency fund is a savings balance. We're going to call that $500. we're going to not give a date, and then it just puts this little thing up here. It'll also, if we add $100 into there, it will throw you up this really kind of neat little status bar. For those of us who are not visual, it'll also give us numbers. So I just like that as a thing. I think that's cool. But I also want a buffer. So I think we'll leave that in our 6 months expenses fund that in real life I never actually fund. And go back up here and put in our non-monthly category, buffer. I fucking love a buffer. I always put it at the bottom of my list. And that's, hello, do your job. And that's where I put everything that is not immediately assigned. In reality, if I was doing this, I would actually go through and assign most of this money to other places so that those budget categories are starting out with something. But this is not reality. This is just a dummy thing. The buffer is nice so that if you see a watercolor palette on sale that you've always wanted and it's on sale for a really good price. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted. What did I have in there? 25? Okay. And it's on sale for a really good price. So you go in and you put that motherfucker on your credit card and you say, today I have bought it. I have bought it from Fancy Art Store. It's going into the art crap category. Fancy watercolors. It is $35 and we're going to save it. And there it goes. Now right here, it's already telling us we've overspent that budget line. When we go back to our budget, it's telling us right there that we've overspent that budget line. You can click on that and it's going to show you exactly what you've done. And what I love about this fucking program is I go, oh, I'll cover that out of my buffer. Because you know what? I'm not mad about it. I really wanted that fucking watercolor palette and it was on sale and I bought it and I feel good about it because I'm going to use that shit. So then you come down here and your art crap is fully spent. You will not be buying more art crap out of this category this month. Next month, sure. And of course it is a fluid document. If you are like, you know what, we're not going anywhere this month, fuck art. I'm just going to take that out of there and I'm going to put it into here. Oh, let's see. Can we just do that? Boom. And now I have art money to spend, but I'm out of entertainment money to spend. Totally reasonable to do this. You can do it throughout the month. It feels really good to make decisions about where your money is going rather than just seeing money go out and not being able to control it or feel like you have agency. You may have also noticed that when we spent that money out of our credit card that we did not have, it went wonky right here, and now we've resolved that, so it's perfectly happy. I do like that there are a lot of visual cues. So this is just telling us that we've spent $35 on our credit card, if only my credit card was at $35. And then these amounts, you can, do whatever you need to do in these things. I have linked all my accounts so they are connected to my bank accounts. I don't know that I would do that if I was starting now because I wouldn't have built up trust in this company, but I've been with them for over a decade, so I trust them a great deal before that was even an option. So I link it and it all downloads automatically. It reconciles. It's lovely. I can do another video on that if anybody wants it. But it is... Oh my god, there's a loan payoff simulator. Whee! Look at how much fun that is. Didn't know that exists. I don't carry any debt but my student loan in my house, so I don't have those programmed in here, but that is really, really cool. So that is just another tool that you can use. That's really fun. I love it. The other way that I use this, and I have a very basic need for this kind of accounting, but I 100% use my income expense reports on YNAB to calculate things for my business. I'm a sole proprietor. There's a bunch of weird random shit coming in at different times of month, at different payment amounts. I mean, it's all real weird. So I like that. It just lets me see what's going on. So there you have it. That's kind of the intro. This is the intro to YNAB course. There's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more to do. Clearly, I don't really know any of it, but but I think that if you do part 1, which is doing everything on paper, and part 2, which is inputting it into this program and having the app on your phone, eventually it will make things so much easier. But this is all you need to know to get off the ground with it. When money comes in, you can automatically assign it, or you can do what I do, which is wait until the beginning of the month and assign it all at once, because that's just more fun for me. But what matters is that at the beginning of the month, you go through and you make sure when you open your new month and it has zeros all the way down, that you put in what you're going to be spending that month. Okay. Any questions? Throw them in the comments, DM me, whatever. I fucking love this stuff.